Welcome back, everyone. We're here at Demon Tap Chicago after some delays, and we're going to be playing NBA Jam T.E on the Super Nintendo tonight. We're playing in a tournament.
What's up, NBA Jam Nation? Welcome back to the Retro Sports Gamer channel. Thanks for joining me in the second installment of On Fire with Green Majik, where yours truly brings you the inside stuff on one of the most beloved retro sports games of all time, NBA Jam Tournament Edition on Super Nintendo.
Anybody wants to challenge me in ice hockey, you are dead!
A few Novembers ago, the week before Thanksgiving 2019, the RSG crew held an NBA Jam Tournament Edition on Super Nintendo tournament, as Tom said, at Demon Tap in Chicago. There were a lot of highly competitive matches from that tournament, and today I'd like to break down the group play match between myself and DPS. DPS and I consider ourselves two of the best console jammers in the world, so it's fitting we'll be playing as two of the top teams from Tournament Edition. We are talking about the San Antonio Spurs and the Charlotte Hornets. This matchup features three of the best players in the game. Through the course of their careers, these three players in question would rack up 5 total Defensive Player of the Year titles, and 17 all-defensive first teams. We are primed for a bloodbath, so viewers beware. This video is rated PG for potential gore, as well as highly probable Dennis Rodman vulgarity and or nudity.
You gotta really sell this one. This is the marquee matchup of the night. These are the top 2 players in the country right now.
Jazz trap matches.
Let's get into it. First, we'll break down the players in this matchup. Why not start with the Worm? While Rodman only played 2 seasons with the Spurs and is better known for his championship runs with the Pistons and Bulls, Dennis the Menace is iconized in NBA Jam T.E as a top 10 player in the game. He also gets the Drip Award for best hair, but that goes without saying. At his side is Hall of Famer David Robinson, giving the Spurs an epic duo that can be really tough to score against. Sean Elliot rounds out the trio with solid attributes and most noticeably has an above-average three-point rating. Over in the teal corner, we've got the Hornets, who sport the game's most elite tandem in Johnson and Mourning. With 9 power each, these stars are very difficult to wear down, even after 4 quarters. Coming off the bench, Muggsy Bogues has an elite steal rating. His elite speed allows him to get open for the deep ball, which he is more than capable of knocking down. DPS very sensibly starts his star duo. But with the Spurs, I choose to put Elliot on the court and save Robinson for the second quarter. In other words, I'm trying to avoid playing Elliot alongside a banged-up Rodman or Robinson, which essentially assigns him the role of punching bag. Sorry, Sean.
Gotcha, yeah, that makes sense.
Wait, not that Sean.
There's definitely,
No.
Right off the bat, Dennis takes a very unworm-like shot, a deep 2, and knocks it down like he was born to do it. Then Dennis flexes his psychological prowess by reading the inbound. With a sweet little hook, the Spurs are up 4-0. Now, in my previous video, I explained what constitutes a key possession, which in NBA Jam refers to when a player is heating up, making them 1 stop and 1 score from being on fire. And that's what we have already. The best way for the opponent to counter this momentum is with a well-timed dunk. Larry Johnson's 8 speed, 9 power, and 9 dunk make him extremely difficult to defend under the rim. Great job by DPS. He needed to land that dunk, and he does. After another nifty hook, Dennis hustles back to defend the lane. On the other end, DPS lands a nice push on a strange choice of shot from Elliot, to be honest. Another tip I mentioned in my previous video is the outside-inside technique, shoving the perimeter shooter after their release, then immediately crashing the board. But the drone Zoe tells me where I can stick my technique, landing on another dunk. Doing his best S-tier impression, Dennis steps back and knocks down a terrific triple. But Dennis is not done. He's got a couple hook shots under his belt. Now he turns to the teardrop, just sort of flipping it over LJ. I've sung Dennis's praises quite a bit, but if you're wondering why I'm being timid on the offensive end, it's mad respect for Larry Johnson and for DPS's defense, knowing he's not going to give me anything easy. With a top 5 player in DPS's hands, I got to be particular if I want to pull off the dub. Hookshot, teardrop, whatever it takes. Even then, DPS plays hella patient defense, and kudos. Then I get some drone help from Elliot. Pretty lucky if you ask me. Sometimes computer players flip a switch in the last 10 seconds of the quarter. And that does end quarter 1. Nice contest so far, really even. We see here that DPS wins the shove game. Elliot has as many injuries as the Hornets combined. Subbing is an underrated part of competitive Jam in my opinion. It's not always obvious how to progress. I got the feeling already this one is going down to the wire. DPS goes with Zoe Muggsy, essentially saving LJ for the entire second half. And I counter with Robinson Elliot, saving Dennis for the second half. And as a Spurs, you want to get excited that Larry Johnson is on the bench. But when Muggsy gives the Hornets a completely different dynamic as an outside threat, you gotta beware. Really, second quarter, Spurs get off to a bit of an awkward start. Nice trap defense here, but the fast break goes to Elliot. He scores, but after another turnover, I'm tempted to stick with Elliot to try for heating up. Elliot misses a shot, misses 2, just kind of gets dominated by Mourning. In hindsight, not a great choice by yours truly. I mean, I'm bringing in a fresh Robinson for a reason. Fast break the other way leads to an easy Muggsy bucket. And that's what I'm talking about here, using Robinson to get the nicely timed dunk. Hornets bring it up and Zoe misses a 3. I get a bit lucky, I didn't really even contest it, but I am proud of how I carefully completed the rebound, not allowing the Hornets to get the ball back. Robinson takes it up now, fantastic defense by DPS, but with a little patience, Robinson lands the hook shot, and he is heating up. Good outside-inside technique here on defense. I get a little unlucky as Zoe is looking to shove me, and Drone Muggsy ends up with it. Robinson Drone strikes back. I kick it back to Robinson because he's heating up. This is pretty critical. If I can get on fire with Robinson, then I can focus on shutting down Zoe since Muggsy can't really threaten inside. Great defense by DPS again, though. I got lucky by retaining the possession. And this next possession is tough. Robinson thinks he has the rebound. I feel like I have to try to pick it off the rim, you know? If I box out Zoe, it might rattle in. Not a terrible shot by Zoe here, but I did have the chance to goaltend it. Elliot kicks it back to Robinson, absorbs the shove, and the Admiral is on fire. Let's talk about situational basketball here. The second quarter is winding down. Robinson is on fire. The Spurs have the lead. That's a decent spot to be in. But I'm a little torn about my defensive possession here. I'm looking to get one stop. Unfortunately, Robinson slaps this one away. Not quite sure why he didn't catch it. Patiently, I'm manning the key, allowing Drone Elliot to get the first crack at Zoe while Robinson stays back. DPS puts a bit of a desperation shot up, and it goes in. Robinson was right there. Wow, the Spurs get a little unlucky. At the end of the second quarter, it's still a tight one. The Spurs were close to getting the stop, maybe a counter 3 before the half, but Mourning says, not in the house of Alonzo. We've had a pretty fantastic first half, in my opinion. Now it's time to put in the big guns, Dennis and LJ. Wow, Elliot taking a big hit in the second half, but is staying in. Let's go. I really want to have a fresh Robinson in the fourth quarter, and hopefully Dennis won't take too many hits. DPS isn't concerned about putting Zoe in with 2 injuries. And with a beat-up Drone Elliot, let's see if the Spurs can hang in there in quarter 3. You gotta love the patient defense by DPS here. But wow, Drone Elliot with a steal, 14 injuries, no problem. And Dennis is back to his patented hook shot. Hornets come right back. LJ with a huge dunk animation. I missed the shove with Robinson, and in hindsight, I maybe should have contested the shot alongside Elliot. I don't always go this route, but here I kind of use the sluggish Elliot as a screen. Then split the defenders for the attempt. Missed shot, but a follow-up shot is good for the worm. On this next possession of the Spurs, I played decent defense, but a fresh LJ just lands the monster dunk. I must have felt something intuitively on that last possession on offense because, again, Rodman sits behind Elliot and Elliot does a little shove off. Not quite sure what was going on with this 3-point attempt, but Rodman gets his own rebound, as you do. And with LJ out of position, Rodman gets the dunk. Spurs up by 5.
I'm surprised, but now we've got a little more settled in the North Korea thing, you know.
Let's not talk about
Ryan talking politics.
Let's not talk about the esteemed leader of the country near South Korea anymore.
LJ using that speed in the lane, but misses the teardrop. Worm with the board. Spurs next possession, Rodman takes the double team, kicks it to Elliot. I don't think the Hornets were expecting that. Alright, but now it's the beat up Elliot as the Spurs use their defender. Elliot gets the drop push. Incredible play by Sean Elliott's corpse. Rodman up for the dunk. It's contested, but it's good. Spurs up by 9. 4 minutes to go in regulation. There's no Muggsy out there, but don't forget, both Zoe and LJ are a 5 out of 10 rating on 3-point shooting. And that's a big shot by Zoe. Dennis uses that speed, puts a hook shot, misses, but the second one is good. Dennis plays defense in the lane, but there's with a step back 3. Zoe with a couple big shots. A little bit too much time in the quarter for Dennis to play the last shot, so he zips into the key. Drone Elliott with a big defensive play, but a bad turnover by Dennis. Mourning slams it home. Just 6 seconds left in the quarter, and rather than press the issue, Dennis just kind of throws it away. The Spurs take a 5-point lead into the fourth quarter. But the proof is always in the pudding, so let's take a look at the injury report. And I just want to say a prayer for Sean Elliott. May he rest in peace. He served his country well. 21 injuries. He's hitting the shower in a body bag. We're headed into the final stretch of this clash of the Titans. Robinson and Rodman versus LJ and Zoe for the game's elite players. Look at that defense by Robinson. He pushes up the fast break, skies, and a huge shove under the rim by Larry Johnson. LJ brings it up. Somehow Dennis isn't able to pick up the ball. Mourning pulls up. It rattles in. Big shot by Zoe. 5 injuries, no problem. Hornets cut the lead to 2. Every possession is so critical here. So on this next one, I like to see what my drone gives me, kind of letting the play develop. And you see Rodman trying to win the off-ball shove, battling with LJ, and that's 2 S-tier players going at it. Rodman doesn't exactly set a pick, but he does roll to the hoop for an open shot. It's a miss, but it's another offensive rebound for the Worm and a 2-point putback. On this next possession, the Spurs do a good job of manning the lane and playing team defense. Rodman boxes out, and it leads to a rebound. After that stop, the Spurs make sure to use the whole shot clock. The goal is to set up a short shot to Dennis, but it's well defended by the Hornets. Robinson ends up getting a big 3 here. Not an ideal shot selection, but in hindsight, I don't think it hurt that he went into the fourth quarter with 0 injuries. 7 points is gonna be tough to make up in the last 90 seconds. Mourning misses this 3, and Robinson does a good job closing and contesting. Going the other way, the Spurs are looking to kill some clock, but DPS gets a nice steal with Zoe using a swipe animation, something that some elite players are able to do. Johnson gets trapped in the corner, leading to a Robinson dunk attempt, but Larry Johnson denies him. Hornets shoot the 3, it's contested, but bang! We're looking at a 4-point game, 40 seconds. Rodman tries to bang it home, not so easy. You can kind of see why hook shots have been the Spurs' bread and butter on offense. The Hornets are just tough under the hoop. Big offensive rebound, and that one lands. One last miss for the Hornets. Somehow, Dennis knocks down a last-second shot. Great win for the Spurs.
Let me
And that wraps it up for this edition of On Fire with Green Majik. Appreciate you watching, and especially if you liked and subscribed. We'll see you next time. Keep jamming.
Hello, screen.
Yeah, we're gambling.
So, if the Chiefs win or the Rams win by 1 or 2 or a tie, I have to buy his entry. If the Rams win by 3, he buys in for me. So that's basically the wager.
Looks like the Rams are driving.
I'll keep you all posted on the Monday Night Football game.